In battleground Arizona, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. draws Biden and Trump voters united by distrust. Some voted for Donald Trump, others for Joe Biden. A few had never wanted anything to do with politics before they heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on a podcast or YouTube video. Lined up outside a Phoenix wedding hall tucked between a freeway, a railroad track, and a U-Haul rental center, the hundreds of people who turned out Wednesday to hear Kennedy speak shared little in common ideologically. What united them was a deep-seated distrust of the media, of corporations, and especially of the government, and a belief that Kennedy is the only person in politics willing to tell them the truth. Voters are not enthusiastic about a Biden-Trump rematch, and alternatives like Kennedy or the no-labels third-party movement, which would typically be long shots, see an opening. Kennedy's appearance in a 2024 battleground state highlights how he could influence the election in ways that are tough to predict. Allies of both Trump and Biden have expressed concerns that Kennedy's independent bid could pull votes from their candidate in next year's expected general election rematch. Ballot access for independent and minor party candidates is an expensive and complicated process, with each state setting its own rules. Campaigns usually hire people to collect signatures and often need a small army of lawyers to challenge access rules and fight back against others trying to keep the candidates off the ballot. American Values 2024, a super PAC supporting Kennedy, has pledged to spend $15 million to help him get on the ballot in 10 states. Kennedy is a member of one of the Democratic Party's most famous families. His father was the Attorney General for his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. But he's more recently built closer ties to the far right, where his conspiratorial and isolationist views are at home. One of the nation's most prominent anti-vaccine activists, Kennedy has long had a loyal following of people who reject the scientific consensus that vaccines are safe and effective, and they form a backbone of his presidential campaign. An organization that Kennedy founded, Children's Health Defense, currently has a lawsuit pending against a number of news organizations, among them the Associated Press, accusing them of violating antitrust laws by taking action to identify misinformation, including about COVID-19 and COVID-19 vaccines. Kennedy is keenly aware that his fans avoid the mainstream media, where journalists often flag the falsity of his vaccine claims in favor of freewheeling alternative sources online. He said he's drawing support especially from young people but struggling with people in his own generation. The problem with the baby boomers, I think, is they get their news from MSNBC, Fox and CNN, he told the crowd in Phoenix, which responded with boos, whereas young people are getting their news from podcasts and other alternative sources. Third-party or independent candidates rarely do well in presidential contests. Even the most successful recent example, Ross Perot in 1992, didn't win a single electoral vote despite winning 19% of the popular vote. Sometimes minor party candidates will get enough votes that partisans will blame them for tipping the scales to elect the popular vote loser, like Ralph Nader in 2000 or Jill Stein in 2016, both Green Party candidates. One of the biggest reasons I like him is because of his stance on partisanship in our House and our Senate, and I like how he wants to try and reunite both of them, said Michael Chacon, a 23-year-old student in Tempe who has never voted and still wasn't sure whether he will in 2024.